This would be the set for the whole play. Cindy is working on how to build these walls and Bethlehem setup out of foam. So curtain opens to unexpected Christmas scene in heaven. Curtain opens up to angels in heaven doing what angels do, humming together their vocal warm-ups. Some will be sitting down on the side of the stage, playing their instruments, violins, and the background will be a background that portrays heaven, maybe just white with clouds, very light, cloudy kind of atmosphere. There we go. 2 angel warriors pop out of the archway in the middle of a
sparring duel. They're fencing with each other.
All of a sudden,
they come out of this archway.
All of a sudden, God's voice is heard. Angels stop. As God speaks, lights pulsate with his words. Bright white lights light up the whole stage even more when God speaks. God reveals his secret plan to his angels. Every time he gives them another tidbit of his plan, they all stop and pause and look at the audience with questioning faces, asking questions like, "What, Lord? Your son? In a stable?" This is all done in unison, and groups of the angels will each ask the question together. The theme of this scene is unexpected Christmas. So as the Lord is revealing his plan, an angel will be zip-lined across the stage, saying, "They won't be expecting that." This will be the same angel going back and forth a couple times throughout the scene, saying that line. The cord will be invisible. At the end of the scene, the star is revealed. God tells the angels there will be a large star that will show the world where baby Jesus is. Those that will be looking will find it. A 5 or 6-year-old star will come out of the doorway holding the hand of like a baby star, maybe a 1-year-old. They'll come out of the doorway, go to the middle of the stage, and then walk down the aisle. Curtains close. Scene ends. Scene 2, Angel visits Mary. Imagine the curtain on the side.
This is actually the curtain.
Mm-hmm. And when it opens, you'll be able to see the whole stage, including the nice walls of Bethlehem, and it will open till about right here.
Right here. Like
where we want to be able to see the stairs. We'll be using those. The setting is nighttime, and the background on the scene will be the inside of Mary's house. So stone walls with maybe one window, a jar or two.
It'd be like a shelf with like a jar on it, or two, something like that.
Mary's sleeping on the floor on a mat. Lights are down really low. You can hardly see what's going on the stage.
You just have to use your imagination.
All
there
of
with
a
Mary
sudden,
sleeping.
An angel is rappelled down on the right side of the stage. The lights slowly brighten to where the angel's light is filling up almost the whole stage. Mary awakens. During this scene, we're really going to need some neat sound effects. When the angel comes down, we want to hear like a whoosh of wind with windows flapping, open and shut, open and shut. The angel reveals God's plan to Mary, then goes back up to the heavens. The light fades away from the angel and onto Mary's face. She looks towards the audience with awe and wonder. The scene ends with the curtains closing and Mary saying something like, "I am your handmaiden, Lord. Whatever your will is, that I will do." Scene ends. Curtain closes, narrator comes on stage. All the 4th graders will get to take turns being the narrator. Narrator will come on stage in front of the curtain. Next scene will be set up as the narrator's talking. Curtain opens to Elizabeth and other women busy kneading dough and washing their clothes. Mary enters from the right side of the stage through the doorway. As soon as she sees Elizabeth, she runs over. Elizabeth stops what she's doing, stands up, and greets her with a big hug. All the girls, middle school and down, will get to be on this scene. When Mary and Elizabeth are embracing, townswomen will be coming out of the doorways and up the stairs. The older ones will have their violins and will get to play the music for whatever magnificent song we decide on. There'll also be a girls' dance in this scene as well. We could either find a version, do the version we did last time, or even write our own song. It's whatever we want to do. We'll end with the girls' dance, and I was thinking they can come down stage and maybe even go through the audience or somehow bring it down to the audience, whether it's the center aisle or maybe we'll have spaces between the rows where they can dance their way out of the sanctuary. Scene ends, curtain closes, narrator enters. The narrator introduces the scene, the King of all kings. Far away in the east, 3 clever men saw the very same star. Star enters now through the middle of the curtain, and the curtain is slowly opening. The background is the far east, however we want to portray that. Narrator continues. They knew this star was a sign. A baby king had been born. They had been waiting for the star. They knew it would come. He's here, they shouted. He's here. The star takes the hand of the baby star and goes down the aisle, beckoning people to follow. Screen in the background displays what the narrator is talking about. Maybe an animated screen showing the wise men moving towards the audience. As they look like they're getting closer, the real wise men pop out from the sides, and the narrator continues and tells of the journey the wise men make. And as the narrator talks, the backgrounds portray what they're saying. For example, they rode their camels across endless deserts. You would see endless deserts moving in the background. Up steep, steep mountains, somehow portraying steep mountains with the wise men climbing up something that's in front of the screen, making them look like they're climbing up and down. And then back down. Down deep, deep valleys, through raging rivers. On the rivers, we want to use the aisle and somehow make it look like there's water in the aisle, whether that's carpet or maybe projecting water, and the wise men looking like they're trudging through the water.
Yeah, this could all be done through projection mapping.
And over grassy plains, until finally they reached Jerusalem. The curtain would close, and the Herod scene is next. One idea for the Herod scene would be to break up the play with a video and make a video of the Herod scene beforehand and show it on the big screen. Or we could just act it out. One idea for the video is that you never see Herod's face. You just see maybe the back of him. And he's pacing back and forth when the video starts with the news of a new king. And you see his frustration with his hand motions and his endless pacing. He catches wind of the wise men's conversation with his soldiers, and he has them come in. You see the wise men's faces, and you just hear the change in Herod's voice. Another idea is to splice in during the video children interviews about this scene, like interviewing children, asking them, did Herod really want to help the wise men find baby Jesus so he could worship him? No, he was really tricking, and just have some children's interviews intertwined in this video. Video ends and narrator walks on stage with the curtain still open. This scene is No Room in the Inn. The narrator fills in some of the story about Joseph and Mary. Sure enough, It was just as the angel had said. 9 months later, Mary was almost ready to have her baby. Now Mary and Joseph had to take a trip to Bethlehem. But when they reached the little town, they found every room was full and every bed was taken. This will be a really fun scene. It'll be a musical. And as soon as the narrator says his last words, every bed was taken. All the townspeople come flooding in through the doors, up the stairs, busy with their baskets and cows, and the song starts. There is no room. And this is the song that we either can have a contest for or find one that's already written. But the theme of it will be there is no room, and portraying just the busyness that was happening in the town. Joseph and Mary will actually come up the aisle during the song, and we were hoping that Mary can ride maybe a miniature pony. Cindy seems to have a connection. We might be able to get one here in our sanctuary. But they'll come up the center of the aisle, go on stage while the song is going on, and we want the song to be something like a scene from My Fair Lady, where the crowd pauses while another group has a part of the song, and then that group pauses, and then maybe the townspeople get to say their thing. Well, Mary and Joseph come up to the center of this confusion, and everyone's kind of bumping them around, and they go to the first door, and the townspeople freeze, and all the innkeepers get to pop out of their doors and saying, there is no room, and they go to the next door. The same thing kind of happens. And they go from door to door, and finally, when the whole song is done, the music fades, and a woman pops out from one of the inns, which is the signal for all the townspeople to freeze. Now, for the rest of the scene, they're frozen. The woman comes out, tells Mary and Joseph that she has somewhere they can stay, but it's not very nice. It's a stable down the road. Curtain slowly closes as she leads them off the stage, down the left side of the stage, down the stairs, back out the main doors, and the curtains close by the time they get down off the stage. The townspeople and everyone on the stage is frozen while the curtain's closing.
Okay, so during this part, the narrator comes on and fills in the story about Jesus being born in the stable, and the script will be from Jesus Storybook Bible, and basically this will be a longer narrative part, which will allow time for the shepherd's scene to be set up. Behind the curtain, the scene changes to grassy hills and a nightscape, as you can kind of see in the back there. So during this narration, we really want a lot of sound effects and some music that adds to what the narrator is talking about. In fact, that could be for all of the narration, but this one in particular, we want like cows mooing, sheep's making their noise, maybe a baby crying, so you could so the audience can get the picture of Jesus is born and kind of the scenery of it through the sound effects as the narrator's talking.
Shepherd scene. This is our flash mob musical scene with a full choir, our parents, anyone who wants to be in, but it will be a surprise for the actors. Shepherds will be on the stage, wherever we want them to be, and they'll have some sheep with them, maybe some of the younger ones dressed up as sheep, and they'll be sitting around a fire. Maybe they can be singing a song together, playing guitar, or,
This is a guitar.
There we go.
It's more like a banjo, but...
Okay. They're just the mundane, the outcasts of the town, just out there maybe singing some blues or something. Then, lights start flashing in the sky. The shepherds look confused. What is happening? An warrior of light rappels down from the ceiling and says, "Fear not, shepherds." The shepherds are still pretty afraid. Then his choir of angels come with him, maybe out the doors, up the stairs.
Yeah, they're all not going to repel, right?
And the angel starts telling the shepherds the good news. Then it's time for the mob, flash mob, from the audience, from the sides of the stage, anywhere we want them to. The whole choir in white robes comes flooding up onto the stage in the back behind the shepherds and sings, "Glory to God." We got to learn that song. The narrator and the choir are going to work together. The narrator will say his next line. Then the choir will come in the highest, or whatever part of the song we want them to do. So as the narrator's talking, there's kind of pauses, and the choir's like interjecting, but it's going to sound big, powerful, and mighty, and it's just going to look a flood of white. We need to help our parents learn these songs and get them inspired about this.
Okay, so imagine this as an overhead view of the sanctuary, and here's the path where some angels could come from. There could be angels popping up in pews like this all throughout. There could be some walking up the center aisle like this, some from the sides, and not to mention the ones that are already on the stage. We want this to be just an entire flash mob scene of angels popping out from everywhere. And we're really going to have to recruit the help of parents and whoever else is kind of an extra, so people could just be coming up out of everywhere for this scene.
What if some of them even stayed on the side of the stage too, so audience interaction?
Yeah, and some could just stay right there and right here, so that they're in and among everybody as this is going on. Okay, so by the time the flash mob of angels is complete, this is about what it will be looking like. Everyone will be moving gradually forward towards the front of the stage, and then the shepherds would be about right here and here around their fire, still kind of in awe and right in the middle of the crowd of angels. And we just want it really to be mixed in with the audience and interspersed, and angels just be pouring out of everywhere.